Revisiting Leon the Professional. Played at my local theater. Had to go see it. Story first. Almost killed an old lady. Leaning back. Headrest. Seat. She's walking this close to the seats for some reason. Hits her hip of my seat. Drops to the floor. Spills her popcorn. Her sunglasses go flying. She's wearing sunglasses on top of her head. And her shoes flew off. And I was just like... And I looked back at her. And she stared at me. And it was really dramatic. And she was all flailing. And I was like, you want help? I didn't apologize. Because she walked into me. I didn't lean back into her. I was already leaned back. I'm like, you are walking your hip against the seats. You moron. Anyways. So she just stared at me like I did something. And I just like turned around to start watching movies. As some other lady went to help her up. And she was like, it was the seat. And I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah. That happened. Anyways. Saw this movie. I haven't seen this movie in like a decade. Great movie. It was an interesting little controversy. Like over the course of time, a lot of people think this movie is kind of like pedophilic because of Natalie Portman's character. They're like, oh, she's a little kid. She's acting all sexual. I'm just like, that's kind of the point, is that thematically, that's the point. Like, thematically, she is a little kid, robbed of her childhood, so she's acting out as an adult, and he's an adult who's acting as a child. He's very childish as an adult in his private life, and she's very adult-like because she's trying to be older, because she hates being a kid. That's her line. She's like, is it always this hard being a kid? And he goes, or is life always this hard, or is it just when you're a kid? And he says, always. So, it's always hard, and which is very true. I think, being an adult is much harder than being a kid. But yeah, that's kind of the point. Anyways, but she's great in the movie. John Reno's fantastic in the movie. I love the Tony actor. It's such an interesting movie. And it's a very fascinating thing. I love that every time she says something ridiculous to him, he chokes on his milk. But they're fun. They have a great dynamic. Obviously, she has a crush on him, but it makes sense given her situation. She's getting abused by her dad. She has a freak for her sister. Poor little brother got killed. Gary Oldman should have won an Academy Award for this role. He is so good at this drugged out cop, and also proves. It reminded me of Batman. Like, there's a world for Batman. Is this the cops are in it with the mob, and they're their own little group, and it's so real. Like, this happened like in Boston and things like that. Cops starts dealing drugs, and they become a part of the problem. Like, cops, I would always argue, are the biggest mob in this country. But they become a part of the problem, drug dealing, and they're just keeping the mobs around so they could be a part of that system. I'm like, criminals! Any of this movie is phenomenal. I love the shootout. I love the war. It's fucking epic. I love that he hangs from the ceiling. I love how intelligent he really is as a character, as an assassin. One of my favorite moments is him leaning against the wall, and he puts the gun to the cop's head, and the cop's talking to the other cop saying, yeah, he's right here. He has a gun to my head. Great stuff. I feel bad for Matilda when Tony starts yelling at her. I was like, oh, I understand why, though. He doesn't want her to think about joining this life. I would love a sequel. Now, Natalie Portman's old now. But I would have loved a sequel to this movie, when she was, like, in her 20s, and she became a cleaner. That's great. I love that he's teaching her how to snipe people off a roof. That's hysterical. So, overall, just A+ movie. It really is. I loved every second of this movie. I think it's a fantastic movie. And it gets a bad rap over something stupid. But more people should watch this movie. So, Leon the Professional. Go see it. Great stuff. Subscribe.